evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night, and wherever the heck you are. This is the Antisocial Hour-ish show in beautiful Lake Vancouver, Washington. Not the one in Canada. We're the less expensive one with the 744 McDonald's. The restaurant of the Scottish people. So
Is
today,
that even enough McDonald's though? I
I don't
mean,
think
it's
so, especially if
you could have more.
you need fries.
Yeah, exactly.
They should just have a store called McDonald's Fries or just
Yeah.
McFries. Uh, all right, so I'm not going to put my Renaissance costume on. That was last week. Who am I talking to here? Who is the handsome guy with the big hair?
The handsome guy with the big hair is Stephen Rooney. Hello, thank you so much for having me. It's a
Thanks for
pleasure.
being had. I love having people. So
Anytime.
I could tell we're going to have a great time today. Stephen Rooney, for those who are unaware, and I don't know how you could be, because Neil Newman has been everywhere touting this guy's graces like all over the planet. But he is the guy who puts the words in Astarian's mouth.
I, so many words, some of them good, some of them not so much. But I mean, Neil's an absolute sweetheart. He's a one-man marketing campaign for me, and I appreciate it so much.
He's such a
He's
doll. Every time you see him, you say, and I have to thank Stephen Rooney. Stephen Rooney. And he doesn't know it full well that he would not have gotten a BAFTA
uh,
if he didn't have Stephen.
more people should address me as if I'm a religion, I think. That's most people
Yes.
should just be like Stephen Rooney. It's
Stephen
yeah.
Rooney. We shall from now on. Every time we mention your
Why
name,
not? Yeah.
put on the official Astarian hat that I
Oh, very nice.
it's lovely. Yeah, this is my Paul Revere hat, which I guess I can make it more Astarian like. but
Yeah.
yeah, we've got lots of toys here. Well, in fact, what you can't see is this is the studio, but what you cannot see is that this place is covered with Doctor Who, Baldur's Gate, D&D, Elder Scrolls, Elden Ring, Elden Scrolls, Elder Ring, whatever the heck that
All of
all
it's
of the
Elder. Yeah.
no Minecraft and no freaking Funkos, which are so gross to me. They look like dog toys. So I'm more than excited to talk to you, which is why I'm in such a crappy mood. It's 4:44 in the morning here. Um, we are so thrilled to have you on this episode. We have talked to other writers in the past, but not somebody with so much lead history and history of being one of the most popular characters in all of gaming in all time. And you're that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm really good at receiving praise, it turns out. And the more you do it, the more I want to like just turn it, crawl into myself.
You're so
No, I've been incredibly lucky with the projects that I've got to work on and the people that I've got to work with. It's yeah, I've lived a very blessed life in a lot of ways.
now. When you were a little kid, hiking, I guess you're not Italian from the accent. So we're gonna say you're not from Genoa. Let's go Ireland, maybe.
Ireland will be the place. Yeah, no. Saints and Sinners, Gift of the Gab, all of that fun stuff.
Thick in the arm, thick in the head. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Boston born, Boston bred. Um, so, sir, how, when you were a child, did you decide I'm going to do this writing thing as a grown up, or did you?
Um, I mean, when I was a kid, I never imagined I would end up writing video games. When I loved reading as a child, and I mean, I think anyone who writes in any form, like you hear the same story. Like ended up wearing glasses because I would go to bed and then just read in the dark by kind of the light of the hallway, all this kind of stuff. Um, no, I mean, when I was a kid, I wanted to be Terry Pratchett, basically. I thought that was going to be,
You
and
can't
so
be
I
Neil
did.
Gaiman anymore, apparently. So,
Yeah, no, exactly. Oh boy. Yeah, no. So I flipped to the front of one of his books and I was like, okay, how did Terry Pratchett end up being Terry Pratchett? He started off being a journalist and then he became Terry Pratchett. Brilliant. So I thought as I was growing up, I'm gonna be a journalist and then I'm gonna like write books. That was the story. And I have so far ended up writing nearly everything apart from books. I mean, there's still time, but
you're not dead. You're good. You're good.
yeah, no,
Off the
exactly.
ground, you got time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Still breathing, still kicking. So I got um I don't know. I did history and English kind of in university. Always loved old stuff. Turns out that's brilliant for video game writing. It
Uh-huh.
it works out well. Um, and
Luckily for you, I'm old stuff.
yeah,
So it's perfect.
vintage. It's classic. It's yeah, it's
1964.
mhm.
So,
We're all getting there.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, no, but I mean, I dumb lucked my way into absolutely everything.
I've heard
Like
that about you. Like, this is one of the things we keep finding as a theme on our show here is that all the game devs and all the voice actors and all the actors in the films are like, yeah, we accidentally ran into so and so who accidentally said, "Hey, this job's available. Were you interested?"
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's the only way to do it. Just like keep on praying to whoever you believe in, and hopefully something ridiculous will happen, and then that's the course for the rest of your life.
yeah,
That
you're like me, you
I
slaughter sheep and nothing happens.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I mean that's you just got to read the entrails right, you know? It's I get so many messages and so many emails from people who are like, how do I become a game dev? How do I become a writer? And I give the best advice that I can, and I'm like, well, try and do these things, try and make stuff happen for yourself, make your own games, write your own stuff. But you can't tell people, oh, fuck, I don't know, just be stupid and and maybe stuff will happen to you if the universe wills it, because that's
Dave
that's unfortunately the truth for a lot of it.
Dave Jones was our first interview for the Antisocial Hours, and he was working in finance. And he's,
Yeah,
it's like, dude, that is
I
way
know.
different than Halson. Dude.
I
But then you have
was
Phil Newman, who was an actor. Were you also into acting as a kid or no?
I always liked acting and I was always so bad at it. And like
It's a perfect
so
right.
yeah, I'm a terrible introvert though, and like I discovered this when I went to university. I tried out for the drama society there,
Uh,
and got a tiny bit part in fittingly a production of Terry Pratchett's Weird Sisters. But I was like, I'm just surrounded by extroverts, by all these people who are so big and such like loud personalities, and I'm
everything
like, oh
personality.
yeah, everything's dramatic, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh no, I just want to be. I should have been like a drama tech or something. That's kind of more my speed. I yearn for it, but I'm not built for it. That's unfortunately the way of it.
But I think that's probably why you write good dialogue.
I mean, I hope so. I think you write good dialogue if you listen to people a lot. That's kind of the thing. And I spend a lot of time listening because I do not like to talk.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're on the podcast. I drew
and
it.
yet I'm on the podcast. That's
Did you study psychology at all?
never like professionally, but it's always been an interest.
So you
Like
were a
it has.
bartender? No. No.
Sorry?
So you could be a bartender.
Yeah, exactly. That's
It's a fault.
oh yeah, no, exactly. I went through a cocktails phase. There's still a part of me that's like, oh hell, I could be a bartender if I needed to. I'll still sometimes look at like I'll just look at people driving by on buses and be like, I could be a bus driver, I could be a bartender. It's got to be easier than writing dialogue, surely.
So
Yeah.
bang your head on the table 474 times. Oh, good
Mm.
idea. This is a drinking game, by the way. We have when my dogs bark,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Nice. Yep.
which they will because it's early in the morning and people have to go to school by 11.
Yeah. It's not early in the morning for me. I could have had something stronger. Damn.
Yeah, the crack of three. I mean, you could have been
Yeah.
like we interviewed one Dave Jones again. We interviewed him on St. Patty's Day. He had a little sippy sip. It was
That
really
must have been fun. Yeah.
yeah, he's really sweet. And so far, everybody I've met on Ballas has been amazing. Scott Joseph, I talked to last week, and Thomas Mitchells, who is a darling, and
Hmm.
Neil Newbin, who I roped him into doing something for Dave, as well as Tim Downey and Sam Bayat. But the fans you guys have are
I know, right?
rad. They're so cool. I want
They're
to hear.
so
Have you
good.
had fan experiences where you're like,
I mean, pretty much every fan experience I've had has been kind of amazing. I went to MCM in London a couple of times, so big old
explain for the
convention.
Americans what MCM is. I know.
It's it's a Comic-Con
Yeah, it's like San Diego Comic
basically.
Con except
Yeah,
XL. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Except they got the Queen and shit.
Yeah.
Uh,
The king.
shit, not anymore.
Yeah. Oh,
Steph,
yeah, that's right.
sorry.
Well, she's
Yeah.
much nicer now.
Oh, yeah, no, but I mean, I've went to this convention a couple of times. It's a big one, and people go all out, and the cosplay kind of blows me away
Yeah.
every single time. Like there are just people there with the most. People have put so much time, so much effort, so presumably so much money in a lot of these cases
Plastic
into this.
surgery to look like people.
I know, yeah, there's implants and all sorts of stuff. It's amazing. And the passion that people have, the events they put on, kind of it's amazing. I'm constantly amazed and humbled by the fans that I've met and the passion that people have for the game. Um and yeah, no, it's incredible. I've made some like good friends out of it as well, which is nice.
It's
Um
weird being social on a game because all those of us who game know that it's basically an insular world. You're just sitting in your little computer or your PS or whatever. Me is Steam Decking.
yeah.
Big fat thumbs. I do Steam Deck. Um, when you're by yourself and you become emotionally involved, and I think that says a lot about your writing. See how I am back around there?
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. You bring it all back.
That's the
it's very kind. It's very sweet of you. Um, I mean, I will say it. Yes, there is a very kind of games can be very inward facing, and you can have a very personal experience kind of with the characters and with the story. And God knows I've met enough people like that who have had this kind of personal experience. I've also met so many people who have sat down and played the game together and got so much closer, and that brings me like a lot of joy hearing about kind of couples who have played through the game for hundreds of hours in some cases together. And the other great thing about the game is it's I've heard from a lot of people that it's inspired them to sit down and play actual D&D. Which
back to the Stephen
more of
Rooney
that.
religion. Yes,
Yeah.
Stephen Rooney religion.
Oh, God. Yeah, no, but that's great. I mean, anytime a game can bring people together, anytime stuff like D&D can bring people together, and it's such a good vessel for connecting with people and
How old,
connecting with yourself in a whole bunch of ways.
how old were you the first time you rolled dice? Excuse me,
Mm.
rolled die.
The first time I rolled die in anger for D&D. I was probably 15, I think.
Age.
Um yeah, so that was back in version 3.5 was what I started with.
I'm an
And
OG.
yeah, just sorry.
I'm an OG D&D too. So
Okay, yeah. No, it was just friends in school had the player's handbook and a monster manual, and we are just like, yeah, let's do this. This sounds great. It's we hadn't even heard that it was Satanism at that point
I was
because
waiting.
we were such sweet little babies. We didn't know anything about the Satanic Panic. That would have been great if we had. That would have been much more fun.
And then Tom Hanks gets sucked into a tunnel in a subway car, and then
I've heard that. Yeah. Oh, I missed all that fun. I just thought I was being a fun little roguey elf stealing a bunch of stuff. But yeah, what do you do?
you eat the head of a bat. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Oh wait, no, that's Ozzy Osbourne. Whatever.
that's Ozzy. He would have been good at D&D too.
I've always wondered if his kids played. His kids kind of strike me as the D&D kind of.
Yeah, they seem the type. Yeah,
Yeah,
they do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder whatever happened to that Aussie guy. Yeah, he never, never really took off.
Sure he's doing great.
Yeah. So, you said there is a kid. You play in D&D. Now, we've talked about this with other people, but when you are writing scripts, now I also have written game scripts and I've written
Mhm.
theater scripts and plays and movies and stuff. My background is in special effects animation, which everybody's already heard the story 100 times. But um, when I get scripts that say, page 7, blow up XYZ. Turn to page 11. Page 11,
Sure.
kill so and so, blood packs have to be here. you know, um,
Yeah.
add the scrubs, add the scrubs, add the scrubs. Um, when you write for video games, were you surprised how much you had to use an Excel spreadsheet?
Oh boy. Yeah. there's a lot more spreadsheets than people ever warn you about.
Yeah.
So I have heard of people who will end up writing whole scripts in Excel spreadsheets, and that's terrifying. We were lucky with Larian that we had kind of in-house software, and you end up with like a branching dialogue kind of
Oh, good.
thing. So you can see visually how the dialogue is going to flow.
Is it like a
But I've
mind
always
map
felt,
software or
yeah,
okay.
exactly. It's that kind of a thing. This thing leads to these choices. These choices lead to these outcomes, and these are all the lines that people say. So that's clear enough for us when we're writing it. When that gets exported and sent to Neil, though, he gets a spreadsheet, and I oh, it generally follows this line follows this line follows this line follows this line, but because of the nature of stuff branching, it means that he's going to go through a whole bunch of lines that sound familiar, and then presumably jump to a section that's completely unrelated, but is just the next line in the spreadsheet. I've never known how they have the actors are so good, the voice directors that we had are so good, being able to just kind of keep that stuff like on emotionally on point, kind
Mhm.
of keep the drama in a lot of the scenes because it would be so easy to get lost in an Excel spreadsheet and just have no idea what the hell you're recording.
You were at the recording of the Cazador scene, is that right? Or was it just I know
I
Thomas
think I was there for a little bit of it,
that,
yeah.
that one part that everybody talks about where Neil is basically just the emotions of his entire 4 years existence just come pouring out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah, Neil did an amazing job on that. He was he was incredible.
But as a
Uh,
writer, seeing that, what was that like for you?
I mean, so I first got those. I mean, I wrote those lines, and it was cathartic for me personally because again, it's coming at the end of a long game. It's coming after I think that was probably four years of development or something, and you're spending all that time living with this character.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, I eventually kind of hear Neil's lines come in, and I I damn near weep myself. Like he put so much into it. Um, but it's a multi-stage kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I hear the lines come in. A few weeks later, I see the lines have been ported into the game
I was gonna
and the
say, is it like
cinematics.
dailies where you just hear the lines just individually? Because I know in dailies and film, we just get to see the little scenes and cuts
Yeah,
individually.
yeah, yeah. No, you can. You can listen to them kind of individually. They do get imported into the game, and then you could play it out through the scene. But I mean, you'd be playing it without,
No animation or just the
yeah,
story.
without the animation, kind of all that. So I hear the lines, and then a little bit later, I see the lines with the animation, with the work that the cinematic artists are doing. And there's a lot of stabbing in that scene.
Yes,
There's a lot of,
quite a bit. That the Manson
yeah,
family would have been proud. Yes.
yeah. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of brilliant camera work.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah, the animation is quite. It would be
the
something.
animators are this the cinematics kind of crew are incredible. I was working with a guy, Felix, who put so much work into that scene. Um, and it's incredible. And then like finally hearing it, seeing it with all the animation done with the lines in and hearing then the music kind of on top of that, that was the point where I actually did have a little cry in the studio. And it
Oh.
was it was it was kind of incredible.
You got to alpha test everything as it was going too, right?
I mean, we had to test our scenes to make sure that they worked and make sure that they made sense. Yeah.
So
So,
you got to know Neil a lot better and then write with him in mind, or did you kind of go, well, I kind of get what he's doing. Let's see if we can make him do it more. Or how did that work out?
I
Darling.
mean, darling,
Oh,
I my relationship with Neil was a really funny one because I felt like I knew him quite well. Even though we had no direct communication the entire way through development.
yeah.
Like I
Wow.
not
I had no idea.
not really, yeah.
That's amazing.
Like it was right at the end that I started talking to him directly, and it was after the game came out before I actually had like a face-to-face conversation with the man.
He's tolerant for
So
it.
so yeah, no. But I described it as like the weirdest pen pal kind of relationship because you can leave little notes on the lines for the actors just to say like be particularly angry with this line. This is how you pronounce this word, kind of whatever weird little notes that they're going to need. And so I just felt like I was slipping him all these notes the entire way through development, and he was sending me back
Yeah, for fourth
all
period.
these little voice things,
Oh,
all
that's
these little voice clips. And no, but we had a very symbiotic kind of relationship. The more stuff that came back, the more of his voice that I heard, the better I was able to write for it. And that changed the way that I wrote. And then he would react to those changes as well. He would riff on stuff like a little bit. So it, even though there was never any like direct communication, it was weirdly collaborative,
yeah.
which I really enjoyed. It's very nice because you can spend a lot of time writing on your own in a room, and then you send stuff off into the void.
Never see
And
it.
yeah, and then the game comes out, and you're like, oh, I didn't want it to look like that. That wasn't. This is rare in fairness. I mean, with Larry, and you're working with
I was gonna
fantastic
say you've
people.
worked with what, Larry, 9 years now?
I worked with Larry in 9 years. Yeah, no, I left last year, so I've been in the wind since. I know. It was hard, but
But you got the big gold star on your forehead, so that's gonna last a while.
I mean, yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
No, the branding is great. They, brand you. But no, it's
I knew I'd like you.
yeah, no. Larian was a lot of fun. And yeah, no, generally you had a really good working relationship with the other actors and stuff. It's rare that stuff would come back and you'd be like, oh no, they completely missed the boat with that one.
Now there's talk on the actors that they would love to be cast in a live action version of this. And I know that Larian has left Baldur's at this point and moved on to
Hmm.
better different things, if there is such a thing as better. But if they think so, we'll try
Sure, yeah.
it. But would you ever consider being part of the live action version of things that these guys want to do?
I mean, if I had the opportunity to do that, I would jump at it. That would be amazing. Um, I
Not
have
announcing
I
anything, people. It's not. It's just speculation. If it was
oh yeah, no,
no
it's
announcement here, they're just talking. Don't want anybody.
no, that's those kinds of decisions are made by people way kind of
Lots of cash and lots of
up yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They probably have focus groups and stuff, and I don't know, that's not
Yeah, demographic focus groups. I've had to go through a few of those myself. I worked for Paramount Pictures for a while, and those are no fun. No.
okay, yeah, I bet it's asking people what they want is just it feels like such a waste of time. Just tell them what they want and deliver it, and then
Because
see
then you
if
get the little
they
kid with
can
a
take
skirt
it or
over
leave
her
it.
head going, I want ducks with shoes. And
Hmm.
yeah, exactly. Why doesn't Superman have a Batmobile? Yeah. You get all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
So if you're not at Larry now, are you just kind of taking a break because you have been busting your hump for 9 years? Or
Yeah, that's mostly been me for the last for the last year pretty much.
oh, good for you.
There's been like a couple of little things that I've been working on, kind of nothing that has come out or been announced, I think, in any kind of major way. Everything has taken some time. There's a couple of things that I'm
There's a drinking game. We just got a dog squeak. Okay.
yeah. Um
It's vodka in that glass, just so you know, people.
yeah, no, it better be. It's um no, a couple of things that I'm kind of excited about, but I'd forgotten when you are going around pitching stuff to people,
Yeah.
how long that can take. My God. It's so yeah, no. That's been but it's fun. I'm having a good time. And at some point, presumably something I'm working on will get finished and I can announce that. It'll be great.
Are you getting to play other games like I know that Claire Obscura is big right now, and of that ilk, the role playing games? Or are you just like hanging out with your family for a change? Because we know how that's like when you're working all the time. Um,
Yeah, no, it's been mostly that. There's been a lot of catching up with friends, because it turns out you drift apart from people when you're spending as much time kind of working on stuff and just getting like burned out. So I've mostly been working on the personal life kind of side of things.
That's an
Um, yeah, my relationship to other RPG games is weird at the minute. I will try and play other games, and then because it's so close to the stuff that I worked on before, I get so judgy. I become such an ass, and I don't like it about myself. Like, oh, they could have done that line better. I would have added a few more. I would
Dragon
have added a few more choices there. Yeah, yeah, that
came
kind of
out,
stuff.
after Baldur's, and I was like, oh, if only they had come out before, they would have known that they could do storytelling so much better. But then again, who they came out by is, to tell you
I
everything.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of sympathy for people who work on on a lot of the other games. So I know with Baldur's Gate we had the privilege of having the time and the funds
And
to,
almost weirdly, during COVID, you kind of got more time because of COVID.
yeah,
Yeah.
weirdly. I mean, COVID was the thing that I think helped us and hindered us in a whole lot of ways. You know, everyone got locked away for a year. It
Yeah.
was, and you're all working much more kind of alone, but at the same time, because of that, everyone was making so much more of an effort to be social. So I was hanging out with the people from work more than I sometimes would have done. It was weird. It was a weird time. And I think
It was
I
the
I
best
think I
of
think
times. It
yeah,
was the worst of times.
it was a time. It sure was that.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
a lot of
no.
music written around that too. A lot of people
Yeah.
created crafts and babies at the same time. Um,
Hmm.
and
Oh, I got so into bread. I did.
you were
I that
friendly.
was I was a bread guy. I was a sourdough guy. It was
Oh.
awful. And yeah, the hair is COVID as well. Like
Oh,
it's I grew it out.
pictures of you with the short hair. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I started Boulder Skate with short hair, and then COVID happened. And I was like, I'm not getting my hair cut. And then after the end of it, I was like, this is fine. Maybe this is
Renaissance.
better. So
Yeah, I think it's much more,
ah,
yeah, much more Renaissance.
yeah.
And
No, thank you.
catch with your inner Gale or your inner, yeah, what.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Gale. No. Now, how does that work? You're writing for one of the main characters.
Yeah.
Uh, how does that work? Does somebody else get to write Tav only and somebody else get to write Halcyon only, or do you guys interweave? And how does that work?
Generally, when it comes to other NPCs, you normally have one person writing that character, and we try and keep if you have a character appear multiple places throughout the game, we try and have to keep the same writer on it. So you keep that through line, you keep that voice, and also it means you have one person who knows that character really well,
And there's
who
no
knows
money
them
in the
inside and out. Yeah,
character.
exactly.
Yeah. Because I know
Um,
Shadowheart was pissing off a lot of people. It was like,
no, when it comes to Tav, I mean they're like the standard options that kind of you get throughout the thing. That's very collaborative. So everyone needs to be on the same page there, and you need to have a very definite sense of these are the kind of options that we're offering the players. This is how the voice should be for those. So it's a mixture of kind of your own work and very collaborative work. I mean, the whole experience is very collaborative. You have to
programmers,
talk to the other writers.
yeah, and the programmers had to be really key in on that stuff because you have to give people directions as well.
Yeah.
It's not, hi, we're going to meet an owl bear. Okay, and you
Yeah, no.
bring the baby owl bear home. What?
Yeah. Everyone's got to be talking to everybody, and it's especially fun when you're like, "Oh no, I've got this really fun, silly idea for a scene," and then someone from another department turns up and says, "Yeah, no, that is going to cost us way too much," and like this thing that you think is going to be really difficult is actually really easy, and this thing that you think is so simple is actually going to be an massive pain in everyone's butt, and it's going to take us like 3 months to implement. So please, for the love of God, don't do that.
Is that how the
So you have a lot of
pregnancy
these
story
conversations
got
across
thrown away?
departments.
That whole pregnancy story with or got tossed. There was supposed to be a. I'm playing dark. I'm like on my 17th save, by the way,
Okay.
because I'm not addicted to the game at all.
No, not even a little bit. No.
No, I never played it. No, tic tac toe is my thing.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing. So spend more money.
Hmm.
But you had a character that was supposed to be pregnant, who's not pregnant anymore.
There were
Wasn't one of the
so
men.
many there were Oh God, that there were so many ideas that were like that were put in and then kind of like left by the wayside, especially early on. So I mean, you could tell me literally anything. Like, yeah, no, there's a character who was meant to be this, and
The clown is actually a ballerina. No, yeah.
anything, almost anything is possible. There's literally no idea that's too crazy that wasn't pitched at some point, I think.
I love all the snark. It's basically just like watching oh, I was gonna say oh, brain just left me. Like the old Monty Python sketches and stuff where somebody's just like jabbing you with this really goofy sideline. You're like, where did that,
Oh yeah.
you know? And when you see the Asterian character, doing the thing about clowns,
Oh yeah.
everybody's got this weird thing. Um,
Nobody likes clowns. They're just there's something deeply sinister about them, and it's I don't know what it is, but yeah.
but I don't know who wrote Wither's character, but that one is kind of bizarre to me because my favorite line, like for the first half of the game, was no. Just to let her,
Yeah,
that just saved me for like, oh my god, that was so great. If I didn't want,
I know.
oh,
I can't remember who wrote Withers, but I mean that's a great example of just lines that uh, as a writer you can write something and you can have an idea for how a line goes and like hopefully it'll land and hopefully the actor will kind of pick it up or whatever. Sometimes the actors will make a line just amazing all on their own, and you can write something that seems really bland and awful, and they can turn it into something incredible.
so.
It's uh, it's a joy to watch, kind of the interaction and the back and forth between like the writers, the actors, the voice directors, all of them.
Do you remember the first time you ever wrote for a game and what that was like for you?
The first time I ever wrote for a game was many, many years ago. It was a game called Legends of Zork, which was a very um it was a very basic, kind of cash grabby Facebook game that was that
As you do.
like back in the day when things like Farmville were really big on Facebook.
Sure. Angry Birds and Farmville were the two big things.
Yeah, exactly. So that was, I mean, writing that kind of stuff was fun. Writing stuff with Larian, the first time you hear um actors say your lines, there's something about that that's just magic. Like it's
You were
writing.
right. The
Sorry,
Were you on the Divinity series?
I was on Original Sin 2. I was there from the start. Yeah, I came in right at the end of the original Sin. So yeah, no, DOS 2 was my first experience of writing lines and then sending them off and having someone record them and come back, and you just sit there listening to it going, "Oh my God, I wrote a thing and somebody said it out loud. This is amazing."
It's like
It
seeing your
was,
credit for the first time. It's like, oh,
yeah,
I get a credit.
it is. It's it's incredible, it's wonderful, it's very humbling. It can very easily give you a god complex where you're just like, I can create characters and they come to life. It's
Now you know how women have felt about children their entire.
yeah, I know, right? Sorry. I got so excited I knocked my jar of pens off the off the table. So that's cool.
Now I have noticed there is a Steve Rooney on YouTube that plays a lot of music, and I see a guitar behind you. You are not that same Steve Rooney, though, correct?
I'm not that same Steve
Which is
Rooney. No.
very strange because he's also Irish, correct? So,
I have come across this guy before. I mean, I've not met him. I don't know the guy.
uh,
We're not.
he also has short hair. So, but yeah,
Yeah, no, exactly. Obviously a
like
different guy.
this can't be the same guy. They
No.
have the same accent. One of them's from this part of Ireland, and the other one's from the other part of it.
Yeah, no, it was yeah, no, that's one of the things when you very like shamefully Google yourself,
Yeah,
and
as you do.
someone, yeah, as you do, and someone who's like a musician comes up, you're like, God damn it, I'm not even going to be on the first page of Google results. This is probably changed now, given how much Neil talks about me, but
I no kidding. I
I
just kept popping up. It's like you can make a whole montage of, and then there was, and then there was different.
yeah,
And
he's a
you two played
sweetheart.
a game together.
Sorry?
when you two played the game together for
Yeah,
his little Twitch channel there. That was
that
great.
was that was really cute. I had a lot of fun with that. That's very nice.
What is
No,
it like actually working with the guy like outside of his character, and then he goes into his character as he's looking at his character? That must be strange for you.
it's a weird kind of experience, and I mean, it's strange because I spend so much time with Neil as Astarion or Astarion via Neil. It's weird.
You
Um,
forget they're different people at some point.
yeah, sometimes in some ways there's a certain separation where I'm in my head there's Astarion, there's Neil, and I guess they're related somehow, but my brain can't quite make the connection sometimes. Um, No, but it's great. And the way that he will just switch, he's so playful and he's so fun and he's so good at like just improving stuff. And I don't know, it's been an absolute joy to watch him kind of take the character outside of the game and nearly give him this whole like other life.
Yeah,
And
signing
seeing him with
autographs
fans is
as the
amazing.
character, which cracks me up
I
when
know.
stuff. It's like going, so I saw somebody said, "I'm going to invite him to my wedding." I'm like, oh. Sorry, darling, I have dinner engagement that day. I mean, he just totally
Hmm.
let into the stuff. It was perfect
Yeah.
without insulting somebody, which is great.
Yeah.
But on DOS, when you were doing that, did you have that same kind of connection with the actors then, or was it, because you had a not a whole different group, but you had a lot of different people.
Yeah, there was a lot of different actors. There are some people that kind of that came back for that we brought back for Baldur's Gate. And especially like Amelia, the narrator,
Yeah.
who was Malady in DOS 2 and just incredible, just an absolute joy, a wonder to work with, a lovely person kind of to boot. Um,
And if you see her, you see her TV spots or because I'm big on the horror movies, the weirder the better. She's in some
yeah,
really goofy ones, and it's like that's the
she's
same crap.
great.
Yeah.
She's real good, yeah. Um, I think because it was a much simpler process with the Divinity games because there wasn't anywhere near as much animation. There wasn't anywhere near. We didn't have the big cinematics that we had for
So
DOS
the
2
budget was a little
or for
more.
BG3. Well, the process was more streamlined is the thing. So you write the line, it gets sent off, it gets recorded, it comes back, and it's in the game. Whereas for BG3, you write the line, it gets sent off, it gets recorded, it gets mocapped. You have to kind of give people instructions for mocap. It comes back, you're talking to the cinematic artist because they need to know how the scene is meant to play out. Sometimes stuff is sent back kind of like for re-records, there's pickups, there's always pickups, but um, so I think we developed more of a relationship with each department, but also with the actors because it was so much more involved. Whereas DOS 2, relatively simple, write the line, they record it, we're done,
Yeah,
kind of
the animation
kind of thing.
of the attaching
Yeah, yeah,
people's bodies, and when
yeah, yeah,
when the big question, of course, you had to write the romance scenes. A
yeah,
story in romances everybody because he's
yeah.
the guy. Um, Everybody wants to mess around with the big A. So how do you write these scenes for this character so that they're poignant and not
Hmm.
comical? Because I mean, come on, you're messing around with a bear. How can that not be funny?
I mean, yeah, there were some choices were
Girl.
made for sure. Writing romance scenes is hard because you got
Jack
the
of future
full
very good
range.
again. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got to write them in a studio surrounded by other people is one thing that feels weird. Kind of especially kind of the further along you get with a romance scene, but you do get used to it pretty quickly. Um, and whatever about writing the romance scenes, watching walking through like the cinematics kind of departments while they're animating it, it's like, oh, there's some boobs, there's some boobs, there's some boobs, just kind of, and you become desensitized to it very quick. And so no, but the romance scenes are difficult because you can run the entire emotional gambit from like very, very sentimental, very heartfelt, very emotional, to absolutely ludicrous. And if you want to land in one spot, but it's still very easy to land somewhere else. It's very easy to write just slightly the wrong thing,
Hmm.
and it becomes silly in a way you didn't mean it to be silly, or it becomes kind of problematic or weird in a way that you never intended. So you're spending a lot of time writing them and then rereading the stuff you've written and just being like, is this okay? Is this what I wanted? Is this what I intended? Is this what's right for the character?
Right.
Because again, this is
People are
uh,
emotionally involved with the characters.
people are emotionally involved. They're really invested.
Yeah.
And so you feel it, you feel that, and you feel like I really need to stick this landing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the romances kind of culminate towards the end later in the game. So at the start, you can goof around a lot more.
Yeah.
Like you can have your bear sex, you can do kind of whatever, but you need,
Start as you must. Yes.
yeah, but you need an emotional kind of landing when it comes to the end, and you don't want to mess that up because you know people have put tens, maybe hundreds of hours into this game, and so there's a sense of responsibility that you need to. I don't want to be like you need to do it for the fans because that's not exactly what you're thinking, but
And
it's
you're not
more
actually writing for the fans either. You're writing for both the game mechanics and the actor and, you know,
exactly.
the
And
story.
ourselves. That's the thing. We've put a lot into this over years, and we're like, I need this to land properly. I need this to be okay. I need this to be the conclusion that I want it to be.
Right.
Um,
And you
so
represent a pansexuality, you represent a polyamorous sexuality, you
exactly,
represent
yeah.
the way, it might be unfamiliar to you as a person, but you need to represent that in a way that's, honest.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So yeah, I mean, how do you write the romance scenes carefully in every possible way is how you write the romance scenes.
Have you played the game with mods at all?
No, no, I haven't. I spent so long playing the game, obviously, like before it came out, doing so much testing and everything.
No.
Obviously, you don't have mods at that stage.
Ah, the game
Um,
is a mod.
yeah, exactly. The whole thing is being built around you as you're playing it. So, um, no, I haven't. I've heard about a couple of the mods. That some of them are funny, some of them are just a bit weird, but I don't know. Whatever. I'm always happy for people to. I, I'm very happy to have the attitude of like, look, we put all this work into the game and then we put it out into the world, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
People, however people want to play the game is the right way for them to play it.
And they've data mined
So
voices and they've data mined, dialogue that you probably didn't know was going to end up in the game or had already dropped.
yeah.
They brought it back in. Have you ever thought that maybe if I wasn't doing games, I would do what? Motion pictures or plays
Oh
or
God.
children's TV? Because that was the segue for that scene.
I would love, I would love a story and port it to children's TV. That would be the best time.
Herman, why
Or
not?
most of my characters ported to children's TV, honestly. Um, I don't know. It's a question I've been asking, kind of having
How daddy
left.
claps, yeah.
Yeah, like what next? What do I want? What do I want to do? What do I want to be? I
You've got a big open door right now. You could do anything. I mean,
pretty
really,
much, yeah. That's brilliant, but also so paralyzing when you can do anything and you have to choose a thing to do. Like I have ADHD. I mean, I am
you get it.
yeah,
It's like choice. You go through a thing called choice paralysis, where you
choice
have
paralysis.
many
It is
options.
very real and it is
Yes.
it is a pain in my butt.
I'm an animator who has animation tools over here, and a musician who has musician tools over here,
Hmm.
and a voice actor who has 16 microphones.
Yep,
So I totally get it.
exactly. No. Um, I would the dream would still be to get like a book published. That would be fantastic. But I mean,
Something some little kid would be hiding under the bed to read,
yeah, exactly. That's
But now they're all
that would be me coming full circle, and that would be satisfying. That being said, God, I would love to do a script for like TV or a movie. I would love to do a play. I would love to do just
Doctor
so
Who,
many.
like
Doctor Who would be great. I
Oh,
would.
yeah. I mean, some of the characters
I'm.
written, I think, would be brilliantly written as a Doctor Who character. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. It's
Stephen
Doctor
Moffat,
Doctor.
by the way, I want you to come back and Stephen Rooney's right here. Just saying.
Yeah, just all the Stephens get together.
Yes,
Just
talk to
yeah,
Sue
yeah,
Virtue and Stephen Moffat, and yeah,
yeah.
we had a grand time on a Torchwood Con, and James Moran and stuff. Yeah, it was
Oh,
fun.
I bet. Yeah. Yeah. No, but I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. That's I've dumb lucked my way into everything so far, and I will. The plan is to continue to dumb luck my way through life.
Oh,
So.
and now you're gonna have a pile of Americans moving the island too, so because
Hmm.
it's too scary here. So,
Yeah, oh, my sympathies just to all of you. It's
our great potato famine is the guy's brain. It's just a brain famine.
oh Lord, yeah.
It's just awful.
There's not there's not much good news in the world right now. It's pretty grim all over.
Which is why,
But
video games are a great escape there, and they really do get you out of your head. And
yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a definite joy to that. There's a definite joy to knowing that y- you've provided something that is that people can turn to when they're going through a hard time, and it gives them like a bit of happiness and a bit of fun when otherwise the stuff would just be really dark.
yeah, yeah.
So,
All right,
yeah.
we only got a minute or two left. Is there anything that you wish that you could tell fans who want to know a little? I know you've talked about this with other people, so I don't want to go into depth, but you get a lot of email about how do I be a writer? How do I do this? How do I get
Mm,
introduced to people? I'm going to tell everybody this really quick. Educate yourself on how to write first of all.
yeah.
You need to have the craft down before you can say I'm going to go do this. uh,
Hmm.
uh, but the biggest question I know that I've gotten asked, and I've asked other people, is how do you get the right agent for what you're doing? And there is an agent. You have to get an agent to do game writing. Do you?
You don't deal with agents for the most part in game writing. So
That's a big question. So that's
that
that's a
is
big change for people who are into.
yeah, no.
Yeah. So
And that's great and also probably a terrible pain in the ass. Maybe there are game writing agents out there that I just don't know about, but it's always good to have someone in your corner,
yeah.
kind of when it comes to anything.
Who introduced you
But
to Larian?
Larian was opening a studio in Dublin, and a friend of mine just saw that they were advertising for jobs. They're just advertising for roles, and he was like, "Hey, have you seen this? I know you're looking for work right now." And I was like, "Oh yeah, no, this is great."
I'm
And I
white
just
and
rocked
I'm male. I could do this.
exactly. Um,
That's the big resume for a lot of people I've seen. But
I
you actually have
I
skill.
kind of yeah. I kind of I rocked up, and out of a whole bunch of people who were interviewing for the job, I got one of four or five places on the writing team that they were kind of building in Dublin. So that was when they were just gearing up for DOS 2. So yeah, no, I got yeah, again, my advice that nobody wants, get real lucky. That's basically it.
Every single person who's been on the show has said that. Every single,
Yeah.
I don't think, yeah, we just had a stunt guy who was on the same thing. He went to Florida with a music group and ended up doing stunts. So
Yeah.
it just happens.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean a lot of the time it does. And there's so much talent out there. It's tricky, but I mean I do feel like if anyone rocks up and says this is the amazing life that I lead, I deserve this because I'm incredible, they're probably lying. And if anyone tells you that they have the ten tricks to kind of land a role in Larian, and they will charge you kind of 2 grand for the privilege, they're lying too.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Everybody wants to make a pocket change out of something. That's just,
yeah, I know, right?
yeah. I am astonished by you. I've been researching you now for a couple of weeks, and
Oh,
I've
that's
actually been
sweet and
researching you
creepy. Thank
longer.
you. I
Yeah, no,
appreciate
I
it.
stalked you through
Yeah.
video games. But watching your other interviews, I knew what you've been over asked. I didn't want to over ask you some of those questions.
Very kind
But
of
I
you.
would like to Thank you so much. And if anybody wants to reach you, do you have a website, or do you don't contact people via social media, or do you do LinkedIn?
No, I'm on the various different like social medias. It's I tend to go by Nuckpang, Nuckpang, on Blue Sky, on Instagram, on the other place. It's I'm still there for better or for worse. So I'm tend to be pretty quiet, but if people message me,
We'll blush,
I will always do my best to respond.
but they have to do this first. It's Stephen
Yeah,
Rooney.
exactly. I must be respected as a nigh god.
Well, Steve Rooney, it has been an absolute joy talking to you today. This has been the Antisocial Hour-ish show in beautiful Vancouver, Washington. And do play Baldur's Gate Blue, do play Divinity, do play everything he writes and will write in the future. And when you see him on the Doctor Who credit, tell Steve Moffat, hi. So,
It's been such a pleasure. It's been so good talking to you. Thank you so much for having me.